Welcome to the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network, featuring St. Laz, who also hosts the popular web series Gem Pop, and music journalist Mark Walter Ward. They have discussions about hip-hop, culture, society, philosophy, and everything else. Now available on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts. What up, world? Super Facts Show, Super Facts Network. It's your boy, Mark Walter Ward. Today, we got a very, very special guest, West Coast legend, one of the best storytellers in the history of West Coast rap. There's too many accolades to name. Glasses Malone on social media. Glasses Loke. How you doing, brother?
And I'm cooling, man. Just making it look a little easier than it is, for sure.
Man, it's so much stuff I could ask you about, but you know, just recently you dropped that 6 in the morning G mix with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, and Ty Dolla $ign, and that song is insane. Like that's one of the best Ice-T verses I've heard in a minute. Everybody did their thing on it. I mean, shit, you take it from here, because how'd that even come about? That's some legendary shit.
So first off, thank you. Appreciate it. It was an idea that me and Ty Dolla $ign did with Corrupt and Joe Moses 10 years ago. And I always knew that I was gonna make a kind of a more evolved version of it. And I always knew I wanted Ice-T on it based off the chorus.
Right.
And I added some elements into the production, you know, and I went to Ice-T. I went down the path of getting Ice-T, you know what I'm saying? And I went to 2 different concerts to talk to him. The first one, I missed him. The second time, I caught him. You know what I mean? He was backstage and walking with his whole crew, his whole team, guards and everything. And I screamed, I was like, Ice, what up, cuz? And he saw me, he was like, G, what's happening? I said, hey, man, I want to get you on a song. He's like, what? You want me to rap? I'm like, yeah, I want you to rap on this song I got. It's really important to me. He said, okay, I can fuck with that. I kept trying to go through his manager at one point. It was hard as hell. They wouldn't even pay me no attention. And finally, when I saw him, you know, he's like, yeah, well, come on, walk with me. We're going to my dressing room. So I'm walking with him to the dressing room. And when I walk in, it's a bunch of super OG Crip niggas, some from Front Hood, Compton Crip, some from PJ, Wash Crip, maybe a 60, you know, rolling 60 or 2. It's a bunch of OG Crip niggas that's like really from the streets. And I think, honestly, it was a test. Like he was trying to check my temperature to see where I really was with it. And when he walked in the room, niggas said something to him. And when they saw me, most of the whole room was like, Glasses, what up, cuz? It's like all these G niggas I knew from the streets. You know what I'm saying? That I knew from Crenshaw when I had my lowrider as a kid. And I think he saw that and kind of saw a piece of his younger self in the situation. And from that point on, he was like, I got you. You know, I'm going to pull up. Came to the studio, wrote his verse, knocked it right out. You know, 1 or 2 takes. We chopped it up some, and he got on. And listening to him, you know, I knew he got off. I knew he was feeling it. It was everything it should be. I mean, the whole idea of this song was to celebrate the origin of West Coast hip hop, of gangster rap. This is the God. This is the father of it. This is the alpha and omega of what I do, Ice-T. So as I heard the song with just us 2 on it, I was like, damn, this is so dope. I'm like, man, it's special, but it needs something to like put the exclamation point on it. And Snoop, we've had a working relationship since 2009. You know, we did our first record in 2009.
Hey, that's an interesting choice, though, brother. Your exclamation point was to smooth it out, though. Like I like that thought process.
Yeah, it didn't felt like it needed something else. And so I went to him and I was like, yo, I want you to jump on this song. He was like, yeah, well, you know, what is it? And I'm like, cuz it's a song with me and Ice-T. Like, Ice on there? I'm like, yeah. And I had realized at that point, cuz and Ice-T had never did a song. Snoop and Ice-T never did a record together.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy.
So I was like, she was like, yeah, for sure. I'm like, cuz, for sure. So he jumped in there, laid his verse. I thought he got off. You know, it's classic vintage Snoop, even with more maturity and wisdom and understanding his place and street culture and hip hop as well. So when he finished it, I just knew it was something. And I remember sending it to Ty, like, yo, this shit is crazy. And I knew it was special then. I felt Ice-T did a really great job. Low-key bang 60s in it and everything, but it was special. And I even did another version of it that's gonna come out, like the Super C mix. And I just wanted to celebrate West Coast hip hop. Like I realized that's what it was about. It was about celebrating the origin, the alpha omega of West Coast hip hop, the alpha and omega of West Coast hip hop of gangster rap and Ice-T, and the true savior, you know, who came and lived out the laws, which is Snoop. You know, you had Ice-T making and talking about colors, explaining to the world, this is what's going on over here. And songs like 6 in the Morning and in songs like Colors. And then you had, you know, the savior come and walk the life in front of the whole world as Snoop Dogg, catching murder cases and being a Crip out in public. So it just made sense. You know what I'm saying? It was ill like that.
Man, it's crazy how the world done changed, bro. Like you said, West Coast gangster rap started with 6 in the Morning. If you think about it, what's that song about? No Knock Police Raids.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we done.
It starts right off with it. No, not more. 6 in the morning, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeak across the bathroom floor, out the back window to make my escape. Like, you know what I mean? So this was like a celebration of that, even if it's not a remake, it's a celebration of it. It's a celebration of Ice-T, it's a celebration of hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, it's only proper. But so since you brought it up, you know, you said you linked with Ice-T and there was politics involved, people knowing you. And, you know, you got mad political connections. And, you know, to Dipset fans or Lil Wayne fans even, this might be a controversial statement, but I think the best song they ever did together was the song they did with you. And so I'm curious, politically, shall we say, how did you get Cameron on that song? Because I remember at that time he was on a brief hiatus, and that was like a reemergence of Cameron.
He just wanted, just the guy, cuz the Harlem guy just wanted to bless me. That's it. I really just reached out to cuz. He really knew who I was. I already knew he knew who I was. You know what I mean? He knew what I was in the streets. And really, OG cuz just blessed me straight up. It wasn't nothing special. It literally was like he knew the reputation was A1 and the type of nigga I was, and really just blessed me. So shout out to cuz, because a lot of people don't know. That was like one of the doper moments of my career too, in my mind. Like,
well, I could tell you intro the verse up on the song. That wasn't no fake shit. Like you felt that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and cuz really got off from me. And I don't really we don't really talk about that with Cam. Like, that's funny you said that, bro. Niggas sleep on that.
Man, not man. You gotta do the public some justice and get that up there.
Yeah, I know. I got you. My word, I got you. I'm
good. I got copies of it. You know, I got it on like the Duke the God mixtape it was on. I still got physicals and shit, bro.
Yeah, nah, Cam got off, cuz, and Tone was on it, and that was special to me because I knew they connection. So having Cam was one of the niggas when I was coming into my adulthood that I listened to from the East Coast, and I just always thought he was special, and I just liked him, man. Like, I never in my life fucked with a nigga that wore pink. I never thought that shit was cool. That's the first nigga in the world I ever looked. I was like, yeah, he got that.
Hey, well, let me ask you this though, because you do got, you know, you got some good swag to you. So would you have wore a Lacoste or a polo shirt?
I don't got no swag. I ain't a fashion nigga at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm the worst at that because I don't believe in it. You know what I mean? I think clothes just cover the body. I don't wear clothes as an extension of who I am. So clothes is just the cover.
They certainly be artistic. You be dressing to match them covers though, like the subject and everything.
Yeah.
Some artistic album covers on the.
I'm starting to get a little bit better at it, because I think I understand it as a business. You know, as a uniform. Like, I could design uniforms for a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? I know what we're supposed to wear, but fashion is so special. And back to Cameron, you feel me? Like, this nigga's like really the god of it. You feel me? Like, I never forget cuz watching old boy, cuz had the Burberry car cover with the Timbs. Like, that nigga, bro, is just a different breed. So that's one of my greatest blessings, top 5 for me in hip hop.
Yeah.
He blessed me, cuz the Harlem God really blessed the nigga, man, with that.
Where does connecting with Flying Lotus rank on your blessing list? Because you know like I'm done familiar, but I ain't gonna front. It's hard to keep up, so I was a little off what you've done in the last couple of years, so I went to check it out. And you know that song Water, if you just listen to it, man, you would not expect the Glasses Malone verse to be on the end of it, but I mean, like that shit, it go together so well. And how'd that come about?
So one of my things that I try to do creatively is I try to expand my brand across the country. I don't think everybody can receive it. I think mine is so pure, like it'll kill most motherfuckers if they try to take it pure. You know, it's like a hot dose. So I always end up running into people over the water who understand how to thin it out just a little so everybody
Don't
can
be modest though, bro. Flying Lotus is a big deal.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I always run into people that know how to thin out my brand enough to everybody else, you know, for everybody else to accept it. Right. It started with Killian Madge. Killian Madge did Club Certified with me and Akon. So when that started, it was different. You know what I'm saying? That's when they got serious. So Flying Lotus became another part of it. It was like, okay, let's go to this level. You know, my goal eventually is get to the baddest and the biggest motherfuckers over there with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's me just making sure I make presence over the water, like not ignoring that this is a global thing, not just a, you know, American thing.
I can dig it. I mean, and then you got the other one with them, Killer Mike, man. But man, that shit go hard. Like, you know, good. I say this all the time, but good musicians like good music, and I appreciate your ability to, because I mean, bro, you can get on boom bap shits, you can get on like straight Southern shits, West Coast above the law, G-funk level shits, like, you know, like that versatility, you know. I mean, you know, one of the things I was gonna say is I consider you to, like, lyrically to be one of the more underrated rappers in the game, let alone the West Coast. And I was curious, well, you know, Mac 10 too. I think Mac 10 is underrated.
I agree 100%.
I mean, and then Above the Law is underrated. So I'm curious, who are some other people you think are underrated? Because I feel the West, as much attention as it gets, still don't get enough shine, especially for the lyrics.
So let's break it down into sections. I think the Shadiest One is the most underrated album ever from the West Coast, and probably the most underrated album in hip hop.
Dub C?
Yeah, the Shadiest One, specifically that project. Dub C, I think, gets his kudos as a cultural phenomenon. Obviously, you see 1,000 niggas today crib walking and doing something that only Dub C does, which is that 2-foot skip. I've only seen Dub C do that. So whether a lot of the modern crib walkers know or not, that's only Dub C. He added that and brought that to crib walking. So I think he gets his credit as a cultural phenomenon, even as an MC. But I think that project, again, is like, it's the equivalent to Illmatic. The Shadiest One is the equivalent to Illmatic. It doesn't get representation, even though independently it's a platinum album. That tells you how serious. There's no Universal behind that album. There's no Def Jam. It's independent. It's platinum.
That tells you good music behind that album.
That's a cultural impact, and Battle Cat really did his shit. Shout out to Crazy Tunes, rest in peace, because he hit his ear for it. You know, if you listen to the Crazy Tunes tapes, he, as an architect, he's unbelievable. So the Shadiest One is, like, to me, his magnum opus. You know what I'm saying? It's the paramount of what he does. And that project is amazing. As far as underrated MCs, Sugar Free.
Oh, yes, sir.
Sugar Free is brilliant. Minus whether you agree with the topic or not, or what he is professionally, or I think as a rapper, it doesn't get better than him. I don't think there's a person breathing air that can out MC Sugar Free. Damn, period. Like, I don't think nobody. DJ Quick is one of the dopest rappers, and you're gonna be hard pressed to ever find a song where DJ Quick can out rap Sugar Free. Production wise,
well, I mean, you already said one, Battle Cat.
Battle Cat would be a great person. I don't think Battle Cat is underrated. I think Battle Cat is underrated to the rest of the country.
Word.
I think Battle Cat gets his praises here. So
most definitely.
I mean, I think West Coast hip hop as a whole, West Coast rap, you know, they don't even want to consider it hip hop. I think it's completely not regarded correctly when you go eat.
That was gonna be my next point, bro. I was gonna ask you if you agree with this statement. All right, there was a time, and you would know about it, fucking with Cash Money and everything, where the South kind of took over the game and the best music was coming out of the South, right?
Sure.
And I feel about, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years ago, and consistently since then, the West has been putting out the best hip hop, and no one's noticed. Like J-Rock, Ab-Soul, Kendrick Lamar, YG, Nipsey Hussle. I mean, classic album after classic album. At least 12 certified 5 mic level classic albums.
Sure.
And I don't think any other region can even remotely say that. I don't think anyone's noticed. Like all this hip hop, think piece motherfuckers, bloggers, podcasters, whatever.
Sure. That's a great point you make. If I had to hand it to somebody, I would hand it to Memphis. I think what Memphis is doing is unbelievable.
I mean, I totally agree, but like when the South took over, like it was kudos. When New York took over, it was kudos.
Remember, we gave it to the South because all that madness was happening. I mean, what happened with Pop? What happened with Big? What happened with Pop? Like the business got away from it. It was like, yo, this shit too crazy. Y'all got some bullshit going on. We can't, be right here. And that opened the door for Master P to slide right in and do what he did. And then obviously we got possibly the greatest label in hip hop with Cash Money Records, you know what I'm saying, out of that fold. But yeah, it got to that space. But I think we always maintain a level of presence. I think New York does a decent job. I think we do a great job as well. Obviously, like you said, with Kendrick, right? Over the last decade, maybe the last decade, we've made our presence decent. But I do think,
man, that decade then, bro, that's 3 classic Kendrick albums. You know what I mean?
But I think our job as a whole coast is, what made the West is it wasn't an individual artist, right? The problem is we had a wave, and it was built on producers. It's not fuck the rappers. You know what I'm saying? It's the producers. That wave was scored by Dr. Dre. That wasn't no fucking wave. That was a tsunami. That was possibly the greatest renaissance in all of art. Like it literally reshaped the whole world.
Word.
So you got Dr. Dre scoring this renaissance. You got Battle Cat scoring this renaissance. You got DJ Quick. You got Daz. You got Hutch. You got Warren. You know what I'm saying? You got Slip. You had Unknown. You got some niggas that was scoring this shit and making it happen. And that's what create all the waves is producers. It's not the rappers. The problem right now is we are flying high off of one rapper, and Dot. Obviously you got Q, you got Tiger, you got Rod, you got YG. But the problem is it's one producer, Mustard, and then Hit Boy. And Hit is doing everything for everywhere. Mustard is doing shit for here still. And that's how you got the Roddies. That's how you getting a lot of the success. So I think until we get 4 or 5 producers, like I've been really putting a lot of pressure on Blast. I think Blast knows that I'll be on him about it, but I think he is so imperative to what should be the next West Coast. What should be the tsunami that is the West Coast. You got to have Mustard. You got to have Blast. You got to have Ty Dolla $ign. You got to have 2 more guys figure out their sound and create it. And then those 5 guys.
Hey, I know somebody. I just heard some dope ass production from the West Coast. I just listened to this album. and I see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs produced by Glasses Malone, one by yourself.
I'm working on it.
First off, can we get this tagged under you on Spotify so people can find it? Y'all need to go check this out. Glasses Malone and J-Haze, Appalachian, spelled APALACHIN.
Yeah,
this is a nice little project, man.
Well, it wasn't mixed well. That shit drives me crazy. I'm a big person in the Sonics. I got worse and worse. But that project was headed to be something really, really, really dope. But it needed to be mixed. So it came out, but there's still some gems on there. It came out cool.
It can't be redone?
It probably needs to be a sequel at best.
Gotcha.
At worst, rather. You know what I'm saying? At worst. It's but I did like the idea, like we kind of came up with the concept of, again, uniting kind of what could be considered the East of the Midwest back with the West and bringing a mafia feel to it. But I definitely think there's space to grow in that space. What's funny is some dudes I'm helping now named the Giants came to me with an idea about something like that. So I don't know, maybe I'll get with them and Hayes and figure it out.
Hey man, you told me you don't got no cut cards and you seem quite open to speak on gangbanging. So I'm curious, Do you, I don't think people understand how much unity there is in gangbanging.
100%. 100%. It's unbelievable. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, anything that human beings do have issues, especially people that are from poor and places they lack opportunity at. You know, it's always going to be a fight for resources. It's always going to be a fight for reputation because that's the only thing in your possession.
I mean, that's everything, brother. Human beings fuck up every human enterprise.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? But I think that the mass of it is the unity is fantastic. I mean, it could be better. There's room to grow. But for the most part, I love my people. I don't give a fuck if you're a Crip or a Blood. It's all love. Like, I've got so much love in this business for people that want to see me successful because they see themselves in me. You know, then you always got the situations where people starving, they kill you over a couple of dollars because they starving, or niggas that, you know, are jealous, feel like they make the most out of their own circumstances or can't. But no, that's human beings in general.
Bro, that's what when people try to demonize gangbangers, I try to challenge them. All right, if you have a problem with this thing is a symptom. So if you have a problem with this, what are you doing to address the cause? Because if you don't like how this looks, you don't fix it by sending people to prison. No, you know, you fix it from. I mean, you get gangbanging started because of racist white police in California. I mean, people have to protect their own neighborhoods.
And it got worse because
look at what causes it. If you don't like it, change it.
Yeah, but that would be too much like somebody else taking responsibility for, you know, systemically oppressing a bunch of people. Lack of economics. Outside of the fact that defending yourself when there's nothing else to do. Nobody want to be broke. But also nobody want to go work 80 hours a week for $800.
Exactly.
No grown ass man in America should be working 80 hours every 2 weeks for $800 before taxes. That's a goddamn shame. Feel me? That's something cool if you live with your parents. That's cool, but it's fucked up that we feel like it's easy for a motherfucker to say, well, before you go sell drugs or before you go break into houses or before you go steal cars, hey, go to McDonald's and make an honest living and make $800 for 2 weeks before taxes will probably turn into $560. I'm not telling no nigga that. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Kiss my ass, because if you got kids, feel me, that ain't gonna get shit done. You can't even pay rent with that here. Yeah. So, I mean, it's our job, you know, as people rising and intellect and opportunities present themselves for us, our job is to go back in these communities and create industry. That's the whole thing. If we ain't gonna industrialize our communities, it's never gonna be right. It's just not gonna work out no other way. We have to industrialize our communities. We gotta create opportunity right there for people to make a livable wage. You know what I'm saying? A great livable wage. So again, that's part of why gangbanging is gangbanging. You feel me? It's shit. It ain't nothing else to do. If my homies, if I can go give 300 jobs in Watts that pay $80,000 a year, which is not a ton of money. Feel me? That's what, $6,500 a month? Shit. A fucking mortgage in Watts is $2,300. So if you getting paid $6,500 and they taking, $2,000 in taxes and medical insurance and shit, you had $4,500, you just spend half your money in the mortgage. So I'm not saying we should make a bunch of motherfuckers wealthy. I'm saying, but if we can't give a motherfucker $6,500 before taxes a month, what grown ass man in Watts or in Compton, what do we expect them to do? Man, the motherfucker gonna go get it, or it's gonna drive them so crazy that they gonna try to be the best they can be at whatever they is.
Damn, bro. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm aware of all that, but I ain't never think of some of that. It's never quite been put that way, man. That was well fucking said. Shit, salute. Man, we're gonna be all over the map with this one, then, because
that's what it's like my podcast, huh?
Yeah, one thing, going over, man, I always love that song you did with BLB, and I feel like if you had made that, I don't know, was it a single or if
it was, but it take a little bit. I didn't still understand marketing at that point to really get the best out of that song. It's funny because I was just talking to my partner about that. It was about the times I felt. There's 2 times I felt I got served as an MC. It's only 2 times. Most of the time, even on Thugging with Kendrick or Killer Mike, I don't think I got served because Like, I got something to say. Y'all can talk about all this shit y'all talking about. What I'm talking about is right here where we at, and y'all know it's real. But there are 2 times specifically I felt as an MC I got served. One time was I had a song with Lil Wayne called Haters, and I didn't understand rap, and I was rapping over some shit I had no business rapping at. I was decent enough to keep a good flow and decent enough to say some all right shit, feel me? But it really wasn't no substance. And you have Wayne come on there and spaz. So that's the first time in my life I felt I got served as an MC. The second time I felt I got served as an MC is with Knock It Out and Bob. B.O.B. like 8. Like, when I listen to that song, I'm always amazed at how he's able to keep the idea of the song alive and still be super duper dope. Bob is probably out of Atlanta. Like, I know Sci-Hi gets a lot of credit for being super underrated, and Bob has had success. Bob as an MC is like one of the better. Like, I don't believe Andre 3000 could have a better verse than Bob on the same song. Like, I think Bob can be as great, if not greater, than Andre 3000 on the song.
Man, I remember that LRG mixtape he had. That shit was insane. Yeah,
Bob is unbelievable.
B's dumb. I mean, I don't want to say underrated because he's hugely successful, but like,
he's underrated, especially as an MC.
Songwriting is just insane.
I think we all know he's a great songwriter, but I think as an MC, that's where he's underrated. I think people don't realize he's as good as any MC breathing air.
Yeah, man. I could definitely, speaking of greats, and not no gossip shit, but like, I know rappers talk amongst themselves behind the scenes, and what do people say about Dr. Dre? Like, as far as like, how do they speak of his production? Or I don't even quite know what I'm trying to get at. I'm curious. Like, do people tell like Dr. Dre's like involvement just like working and like, do they tell stories like, man, this one Dre song I was on that didn't get released, this beat was so sick, like shit like that?
Nah, you don't really hear that much, but the thing that you hear about Dre is, I think more or less, I think everybody behind the scenes realize he's a finisher. 1,000 people want to take credits for his production, but you listen to their production and they shit don't sound nothing like that shit that he fucks with. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think behind the scenes it's kind of understood that he is the finisher of all finishers. You know what I'm saying? He's the greatest, like baseball, he's a closer. As Mariano is the greatest closer in baseball, that's fucking Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre is gonna close the fucking show, man. You know, he gets to start touching shit and shit come to life and it become completely different. That's the brilliance of that man. That man is I mean, you could walk in a room, man, and you could build a room. I've seen 1,000 niggas build rooms. Feel me? A 500 square foot room, and the room is cool. It got some decent paint. Dre walking that motherfucker. He got 7-inch crown, 7-inch baseboard. Feel me? He didn't put feathered painted the wall. He ain't textured shit. He'll make it completely flat. He done put all kind of shit. That's Dr. Dre. Feel me? You could build a kitchen, but that nigga shit is gonna have granite, Sub-Zero appliances. You know, he's the greatest finisher there ever is. You feel me? Like, and that's kind of, I think, the thing they say about him behind closed doors. Everybody say pretty much like, when he started turning knobs, it's a wrap.
And then, he knew Pac, and like, I don't know if you'd say recently, but definitely in the last few news cycles, you made that song, Tupac Must Die, which, I don't know if you people when I introduced you. I think other than Ice Cube, you're probably the best storyteller in the history of
that means a lot to me. I'm definitely working on making sure people understand that that's a reality. I would like to believe so. I mean, Ice Cube, that's pretty much tough. Now, I don't think nobody's gonna top Today Was a Good Day. You know what I mean? I do put that, I mean, shit.
Like some of his songs about the riots off of like America's Most Wanted, like bro,
Vacation.
I'm there like in the suburbs outside DC, like I'm from like where around kind of near where Kevin Durant's from, but like where he live at, they probably wouldn't come to my neighborhood too much. And we listened to that shit in like 91, 92, 93, that and the Chronic and all that. And it's like you at the riots, like you in LA at that time, like and at least the people in my circle, we internalize that a lot more Like we would hear the New York shit, like the Nas and the Biggie shit and the Wu-Tang shit, and we'd be like, yeah, that like we'd appreciate the craft of it, and it would knock and go hard and all that shit. But you know, like that Ice Cube, NWA,
It
Dr.
got real.
Dre, all that, it made you feel like you was on the West Coast, even though, you know, being 13 in the DC area, we ain't never even really knew too much about California. Because, you know, some of that we heard before we even saw Menace or Boys in the Hood, you know?
Sure, sure. Today was a good day outside of Regulate. It's probably the greatest story ever from the West. It's tough. Ice Cube is tough, man. And he has so many great stories. Check Yourself, you know, with Daz Effects is a great story. He got singles that are great stories. You Know How We Do It. Drake, like,
What
Kill.
about that John he did on the I Got the Hookup soundtrack, Fool, I'm a Vet, You Can Bet.
Yeah.
You know about that?
You
Yeah,
talking about
that's
Ghetto Vet.
a story right there.
Ghetto Vet is like one of the most underrated stories he ever told. I mean, Cube is phenomenal as a storyteller. I mean, look, he's making films.
Word.
A lot of everything he is a lot of blueprint that I tend to avoid it, but I realize is very much prevalent and there for me. And I have to truly, you know, become like everything that the music pretty much made me in the first place.
Word.
That makes sense. Like,
yeah,
I have to be a living embodiment. Like, they wrote the laws. I have to become a living embodiment and come write the laws that they wrote. You know what I mean? So
I mean, it ain't copying if it's the best choice to make, you know?
I agree. And I can never be them anyway. So, you know what I mean? I got to be me and it'll work out just fine. But that's also the essence of West Coast, which back to stories, is also the essence of West Coast hip hop and gangster rap in general. The first song is 6 in the morning, which is one of the most brilliant stories. That story, 6 in the morning, police at my door, turned into rolling down the street in my 6'4".
Yeah, Seagram sleeping in my nights. It wasn't just, you know, it was all kinds of. But you know, let's get back to you as a storyteller though. What motivated you to write a story from the viewpoint of Orlando Anderson?
It really was just the more I got into what hip hop was all about, you know, providing that culture, that insight to places that, you know, culture being language, lingo, you know, style, cuisine, morale. Morale was a big thing that I noticed when I got into what culture really meant. And once you understand hip hop is culture, you know, one thing about the West that makes us special and the thing that we've always provided was morale.
Yeah.
Like, our attitude is undeniably different than the rest of the country. You know what I mean? What we think is right and wrong is completely different, especially early on than the rest of the country. So to continue in that fold of morale, to explain to people like, yo, if you jump somebody out here, feel me, within the culture that I'm vested in, like, that'll get you killed and don't nobody feel bad for you. You know what I'm saying? So as I got more into the art of hip hop, really making pieces of it, you know, putting bricks in that foundation, I wanted a piece of it. I wanted my own Fuck the Police. I wanted my own Dre Day. I wanted my own Real Compton City G's. I wanted my own, you know, it's so many records that are just bricks in what West Coast hip hop. They necessarily don't have to be singles, but they become things that make the West Coast special. So hip hop is all about delivering culture from the underworld, you know, from that whole world. So that story, I'm vested as nobody is more of an authority figure as far as my generation with being a Crip or being a gang member. So I found a story that was the most popular that the world knew about, and then told it from the gangbangers' perspective.
Damn,
that's what hip hop is all about, especially here.
Man, you spoke on man. See, it's so much stuff. I mean, man, because I ain't trying to take up too much of your time. So
yeah, man, I came in shit. We've been missing each other, so whatever we got to do is what we got to do.
All right. Tell me about that Juggalo march. That you know, on your Wikipedia page, that shit just sounds geeked out. Like the ICP and Insane Clown Posse. I know they be painting their faces and look like evil clowns and shit. And what they was the Juggalo march in DC?
Yeah, I missed it actually. I got caught up with some shit. But they invited me. The Juggalos, that whole movement is kind of a movement that's embraced me since 2010.
That's a lot of money in them hills.
Man, fuck the money, man. The people is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, what I love about it, it's a bunch of white people. You know, it's not all white people. It's a ton of different races, but primarily a centerpiece is a bunch of white people that come from the gutter.
Yeah.
And they show love to you. You know, that's when you're able to see that America is not as racist as you thought it was. There's a bunch of people struggling all over, and they came together under a banner, and they're able to show love to whoever they want to show love to. I love the motherfuckers, man. I love their culture. They not extraed out. They not yuppied out. Feel me? They really fuck with you. And if they fuck with you, they fuck with you. So ICP gave me opportunity, had me perform at a gathering or two. That was ill. Tech 9 is the first person that ever took me on a national tour. 3. So, you know, they exposed me to their audience and they all show love. So it's genuine love for them. I was mad I missed it, but that community definitely deserves recognition, and you know, I'm very fond of it.
Yeah, like I ain't gonna front, like I like the music, but I have nothing but respect to how strong their movement is. You know, I see on your album coming out, you got Raphael Sadiq on it. I'm curious, what's your favorite Tony song?
Feels good.
Shit, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, they're incredible.
And you got the crazy guest list on this album. Which ones, like looking at the names, it's so hard to even ask, like, which ones stand out?
Obviously 6 in the morning, right? Because that's Ice-T and Ty Dolla $ign.
Right.
That's the origin. For me, that's what I like about us three, as far as not Ty, but Ice-T, Snoop, and me. It's like it's like 3 decades, 3 generations of Crippin' to a degree, right? And it's like what we all represent to gangster rap, right? This is the origin. This is the alpha and omega, Ice-T, of gangster rap. He's what West Coast hip hop is all about. Feel me? He's the origin. The reason we have it is because of him. You know, if you watch Underworld, feel me? He's fucking Alexander Corvinus. Like, he is the father of it all. And then you have, like I said, Snoop, who is the savior. He's almost like a Jesus. He came and lived the laws, came and almost died for this gangster rap shit sins, almost got life in prison. Feel me? Fighting a murder charge because he was living what Ice-T wrote down and told everybody was going to happen. He came and fulfilled the prophecies that it was going to be the greatest phenomenon and became the face of it. And I've always felt that like I inject a lot of soul into West Coast music. I don't think a lot of artists carry the same tonality and the ability to reflect on culture as well. So I represent like this soulful spirit. So to compare myself to like the Holy Spirit of gangster rap is real ill.
You got a great cadence, brother. Like earlier when I was talking about being able to get on them different types, like that really come down to like cadence and shit. Like shit, I bet you'd be a hell of a drill instructor, at least on the marching part.
Man, thank you. I feel like I just inject so much soul to this shit. That's all.
You know, there's definitely a level of musicality. Like I heard you on one of your songs, you said Beach Cruiser flop, but I guess if you're looking at some metrics, it may not even be what they are. But I feel a lot of people copy that album structure, like them West Coast albums I was speaking of. There's classics. I feel a lot of them artists probably definitely listen to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. But you know, shit, it ain't over. Problem is, when it ain't over, it ain't over.
I mean, point being though, like, I mean, people should like. I don't think you should consider a flop. Like when you was talking about Battle Cat, you're like it's appreciated by those out here that understand. I think though people that really listen to music appreciated Beach Cruiser for what it was.
Yeah. See,
I know you had issues with releasing it and everything, was probably
it's not that the version when I titled it Beach Cruiser, it didn't come out. That was a version that made other people happy. It wasn't the version that I envisioned when I came up with that title. So I always look at it as an accomplishment, but also I look at it with a side eye, like, cuz, like, you know, I wish everybody would have got a chance to hear that. But you know, shit ain't no crying over spilled milk, bro. Just get the mop.
I mean, that's an attitude that that's got you still improving these years later.
Sure.
And, you know, that I mean, fuck it. I'm gonna go and ask you about this. You had the song with Akon. You know, I don't think you be fronting, like you seemed a little friendly with him. I was curious, what'd you feel when he had the song with Tekashi?
Broke my heart. I never probably see, like, it'll take a lot for me to see him the same.
So you can't accept it being like, man, it was a hell of a big check.
Man, I don't give a fuck. Akon rich as a motherfucker. I don't need cuz money. I mean, that was like one of them things that was just a bad idea.
I mean, I totally agree, man. That's Mel Matrix, one of the pictures over my shoulder, one of the people Tekashi ratted on. I was just curious if you know, there was immediate backlash. I was curious if people are still maintaining that same energy, because like that should be kind of crazy to me for him to emerge making songs with rappers, at least gangster rappers again after that. But you know, I don't want to end on no bad note, no negativity. You know, everybody always got some.
It's no negativity. It's not negativity. As much as Akon broke my heart, he only broke my heart because he had my heart, because he blessed me with my first successful record. So no matter what I think and how much it broke my heart, it's fucking Akon who changed my life as well. So it'll never be negative. I'll still poke a motherfucker in the heart over Akon. You know what I mean? But I hated that. You know what I mean? I hated that somebody who I felt meant so much to the streets and so much to people like me, who mother died in this struggle. You know what I mean? For real, about people being modest and being respectable. And I don't care what people say about thieves. Like, you don't got to be a piece of shit because you commit crimes. You know, everybody got to get ahead. But it's another thing to be a coward and to send people out on missions and to get people to do your dirt. And then when the time comes for you to pay your fucking toll because you can't rock with the wolves, you tell. That make you a hoe ass nigga. Feel me? And I definitely don't like Akon stamping no hoe ass nigga. That's just not, feel me? His stamp meant the world to me. So to stamp that clown ass nigga, nothing cool about him. And he didn't do it because of his age or none of that shit. He did it because he's a coward. He did it because he didn't want to accept responsibilities for things that he had other people do in his name and in his interest. He ain't no fucking victim. He's a fucking coward. If I ever seen him, got close enough to him, I'd slap every piece of skin off his fucking face.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir, brother. I done did time where I could have ran my mouth and not did time. I can't.
We all have.
I can't stand the thought of that shit. That shit's ridiculous. But you know, I'm curious. You said you took a lot of business acumen from observing Mac 10 and Birdman, and I'm curious, off the top of your head, what's the best piece of advice Birdman ever gave you?
So he taught me ethic. He taught me ethic, work ethic. Like, what makes Birdman, Lil Wayne, those guys special, their work ethic is different. Like with Tupac probably would look at Lil Wayne's song catalog and be in disbelief. That's how much Lil Wayne records. Them guys put their head in the sand and work. They don't give a fuck about none of this other shit. All the talking niggas is doing, that's all talking. Them niggas is working. They work all the time. And if they not recording, they on that tour bus, touching hands, shaking babies. You know, they kissing babies, shaking hands. That's what they do. Them niggas is the South grind. Them niggas are truly the epitome of what the South grind is. Man, that's what it is. Them motherfuckers work, man. So work ethic is what Stunner taught me. The reason I'm in here now, right now, still recording, even though I got music that I'm about to release. Like, I'm prepared for follow-up. I'm prepared for 2023. So that's what I got from Birdman, the main thing.
That's what's up. So when's the album coming out?
It looks like in the next 45 to 60 days. I'm just letting everybody feel the music, and you know, I dropped one song. Now I'm just start creating a little more content around it and letting people understand the specialness of what happened. Then I'm gonna drop the next song, which is really dope. I'm gonna probably drop 4 songs total and then drop the project.
Man, I can't wait. I mean, if 6 in the morning G mix is any indication, man, I can't wait for that to happen. So, man, brother, I really appreciate your time. Like I said, I've been a long time fan. You know, I ain't never too cool for school to admit things of that nature. But you know, before you leave, please drop your socials or anything, you know, that you support and you want people to support.
At Glasses Low, really, man. I'm just Google me. I'm Googleable, like my boy Mr. Fab say. I'm Googleable, dog. Follow me wherever. My Twitter is the best because it allows me to be witty.
I heard that. All right, well, like I said, brother, thank you for your time and take it light. Have a good night.
Love, brother.
No doubt.
The Superfacts Network, home of Jump Pop, STE, and the Superfacts Show, now available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from. Come check out St. Laz, G from the Shop, and Mark Waldo Ward.